Here's some ideas for making rings using the thinnest of the coiling rods. And I can assure you, every time you make them, they'll look very different. So I'm going to use the thin coiling rod to create these sleeve coils. And you can use 0.6, 0.5 mil or 0.4 millimeter wires for coiling. But first I'm going to start off by making the shank of the ring. So that's the main part of the ring. And I'm using my ring stick to wrap around, and I'm making it just, the right size, and I'm leaving a tail. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to take that short cut end and use that to bind all those coils together. So that will hold and secure all those coils in one place. And now I've got the projecting wire, and I'm going to use that to bind around the diameter of the shank. So I just keep going round, and all I'm concerned about is not leaving gaps. So I bind it quite tightly. I'm pulling the wire quite tightly around. And really, the amount of wire you use for this will depend how chunky you want the ring to be. So the less wire you use, the thinner the shank of the ring will be. So as you bind it, you'll find the wire starts work hardening a bit, starts tempering. So you might need, like me, to use your chain nose pliers to pull it through. And you can stop wherever you want. I may as well use up the last of it because it's nearly at its end now. So once you come to the end, just push the wire tightly around the side of that circular shank, and there you have, it's all bound as one. So then put it onto your ring stick and take the planishing end of your whammer hammer and start stroke hammering it on to the metal triplet. So you want to sort of stroke hammer, which compresses all those wires into one mass. So you get this sort of solid shank or ring, if you like. And that is a ring on its own. So you just keep going round until it's all compressed into one. Now I hammered so that the end lifted up, so I'm just going to trim that off, push that end down and make sure that's now a solid band. Then use a bit of glue and glue your flat back cabochon onto the base. Now I've made my sleeve coil, so I've used 0.6 mil to bind around on my WireWizz on the thinnest of the coiling rods. So there's my sleeve coil. And you can use 0.6 or you can use 0.8 millimeter. I think I'm going to use 0.8 to thread through your sleeve coil. So I'm just cutting a length, and I'm going to use this to spiral round the cabochon that I've put. So I'm going to take the end of the wire. In fact, it's probably better to secure it onto the shank before you put the sleeve coil on, but I'm going to do it this way now. So I take the end and secure it onto the side by the stone, or in this case the pearl. In fact, I don't think it's quite glued, but I'm going to persevere and see if I can. My stone is a little bit, I'm sort of going too fast, but I just want to show you the technique. And then once it's secure, push the coil close up to your flat back crystal or cabochon or whatever you're using for your focal of your ring. So your hero bead, if you like. And then push it along the wire so it's hugging around the stone or whatever you have as your center of your ring. So bind it around, and then you want to secure it on the other side, or whenever the coil, you don't have to use all the coil, but I am going to use it all. It makes it sort of bigger and bulkier, but if you didn't want such a sort of big coil nest, you can, you know, pull it off and just make it smaller, but I've decided to use it all. It's a bit wobbly because my cabochon is not quite glued, so I've had to re-glue it and leave it to set a bit longer. And there you have it. I've secured it on each side. You can see what it looks like, and it really sets off a central piece quite well. So here's another idea. I'm going to show you a few ideas. This one, a lot simpler in a way for the shank. So I'm showing you how to make a sleeve coil on the shank of a ring this time for a 1 bead ring. So I've got the wire, just make sure it fits your finger or the size that you want. I've got another one of my sleeve coils made on the thinnest rod. This is 0.4 of a millimeter. But again, you know, anything from 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, all of those will be good for these small coils. And now I'm making a centralized little circle at one end of my circular ring. Now I'm taking the coil and I'm going to feed it. You sort of have to, you can pre-shape it a little bit, but you have to sort of twist it on, and eventually once it starts feeding on, it will go nicely on. Now I don't know how much I'm going to use quite yet, so first of all I just feed it on to see, have I got too much of a coil? I'm just going to measure it now. Feed it on right up to that little loop. Yes, I've definitely got too much. So you can actually measure with a piece of string as well. So I'm just going to put my fingernail where I want to cut the coil. It's about there, so that I've got my indent there. So now I'll take it off and cut it. So that's the amount of coil that I need for the shank of my ring. So feed it back on, push it right up to that little link, and then now I know I can trim that and make another link on the opposite side. I've still got a bit too much, so you just keep, it's better to have too much because you can keep removing wire, while if you have too little, obviously it's a bit problematic. You'd have to have a tiny little link. So there we are. I'm trying to get the two links roughly to be the same size. So once you've got this sort of horseshoe shape, bring those two ends together, and a bit like a jump ring, you sort of start off much smaller because they spring open. So start on, you know, circular, putting it around something circular, and sort of go past each other so that they come together at the center, and you just check it out again, and you make sure that that space is just right for the bead you want to use. So I'm using 0.4 now to add my bead. So first of all, I'm going to bind that 0.4 just next to that link that's sitting at right angles to the sleeve, and then I thread it through the link, pull it through. Then I'm going to pick up my bead, this beautiful sodalite. I think it's sodalite rather than lapis because it's got a little bit of fleck of white in it. And then hold those two links tightly together around the bead and secure it on the opposite side so that it sits really snugly between those two links. So I could cut my ends off at this point, but I'll show you what I sometimes do. I leave them, I just cut them so that they're trimmed the same length. Just make sure they're sitting close, and then I make little spirals. So tiny little spirals with this 0.4mm wire, and I spiral those down so that they sit against those links and hide the big loopy sides. But you can leave it, you don't have to do that. You see, that just sort of hides the space that's there, fills in that gap. And then you do that on the other side, the opposite side. So you want to make, I'm rushing this a bit, so I'm not doing it beautifully, but just spend, take your time getting it nice and neat and flattened against the side links and the side of the bead. And that's it. That's the very simple one, just to show you how you could use the sleeve coils for the shank of the ring. So you've only got one wire in there, but it gives this nice chunky look. It's a simple, lovely, I think, ring for a beautiful gemstone bead. And again, you can make these sleeve coils out of any coloured wire. So that's the one for the shank. And then I've got one last one to show you, because you can see it's endless, the variations. So this one I've gone around twice, so it's wrapped over itself. Can you see it's gone past this, where it should join? So I'm going to make little circles. And I've trimmed that off because I want to leave a gap to fit my bead. So I've got 2 circles on each side. Don't want them too big because I don't want to detract from my bead or my gemstone. And again, I turn those links right angles to the shank, and then because it's misshaped, because I've been holding it, you just adjust it again on your circular ring mandrel. Make sure that they're sitting at the right angle and that you haven't lost the shape, and check that the gemstone fits in the middle. So this is using 0.5mm. I've got a little bit of matching wire here, and I start by binding around the side next to that link, and that's going to secure that all together there. Feed it through the link, and then you're ready to thread your focal bead. I mean, of course, I'm showing you everything with one bead. You could put a selection of little beads all in a sort of nest or, group together. But it's probably easier just to, when you're learning this, just do it with one. So pull it through. Sometimes it's a little bit, you've got to twist it and bring it through, and just be gentle with it because it snags a bit. And then thread it through to the opposite side, and then you're securing it again on the opposite side, wrapping that wire around. Just check if you haven't misshaped it. Just bring it really close together on each side, that it's really nice and snug within those 2 links. And if it needs widening, this is the time to put it back on the ring stick and give it a bit of a work hardening rather. And now what I wanted to show you is not just using the sleeve coils, it's also using some beads. So I've got a selection of seed beads and small small beads basically. So I'm going to add a varied mixture of beads. Of course you could use different colours. I'm doing this very monochromatic, it's just keeping to the golds. But you could, you know, if the central bead was a different colour, you could bring out that colour again. So you're adding a few beads, and that's going to encircle around your bead. And this is great if you've just got little bits of sleeve coil left. You know, you haven't got a long piece to go all the way around the bead. So you can use beads and sleeve coils mixed together. So leftovers are great for making different things. So I've got a little bit of some beads, I've got the sleeve, I'm going to use more beads, and you just really freestyle it. You just keep looking at it and saying, do I want to add more? Do I want, you know, you can always make another sleeve coil and add it. The main thing is pushing them right down so there's no big gaps, and then securing it so that it doesn't lift up, and allowing enough wire really, because you can always add more. So if you hadn't allowed enough to finish this, don't forget you can always add another bit. So now I've finished off right there on the side, secured it, and I've added a few more beads just to secure it in. So that's a citrine bead. And now look what I'm doing. I'm putting my fingernail and making little gaps. And the reason I'm doing that, I wanted to show you, it's a sort of troubleshooting thing that I found out. So sometimes when you wrap around, you do separate the coils and you think, oh gosh, it doesn't flow so well. But actually this looks quite effective. Can you see by separating, what it does, it tightens also the gap. So you might have a loose bit, and so this works for that. And if you find you haven't got any fingernails to do that, because sometimes I don't either, use your tips of your chain nose pliers to do this. And that's got a very different look. So I just wanted to show you that as well. If your sleeve coil goes a little bit AWOL, you know, that's all you need to do. So there you have it. That's three different ways of playing around with your thin coils. And here's a few that I made earlier. This one's really, I've gone to town with, it's rather over ornate. And here's something that looks like a whirlwind, and here's just a spiral that I've put around a sleeve coil. So play with this idea, come up with your own versions, and just hope you have fun with it. So thanks for watching, and stay creative.